by now. If the Celtics have more than 15 turnovers, they lose basically, and if they have less, they win. The numbers aren't exactly that, but they're very close. Even the Celtics know this. How do they continue to turn the ball over, and how can they limit that in a pivotal game 5, or game 6?
Well, the number one thing you got to do against good defense, and you just saw it right there, is play strong in a crowd. If you notice, these turnovers, when you dribble into a crowd, one person reaches in and all of a sudden it becomes a loose ball, it becomes a steal, they get out in transition, they go the other way. Steph Curry drops it off to Wiggins in particular, who's gonna be a player that can thrive when they're getting steals in open floor situations. And all turnovers aren't created equal. If you notice, these live ball turnovers are what? Turning into open shots. Bang, bang. And so for the Celtics playing at home, in particular, your two best players, Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum, struggle against the Miami Heat off the dribble, playing in the crowd with their turnovers. You got to play strong. You got to keep your head up. And you got to understand that when that second defender comes, you got to be decisive, Jacoby. And don't underestimate just like dribbling one or two, like take one or two hard dribbles either way and just pull up. Like the one thing, if you're Jason Tatum, like nobody's going to block your shot. Like it can happen. Wiggins has the athleticism to do it, and Draymond Green has the defensive prowess to do it, and Looney has the ability to do it. But people ain't just getting their jumpers blocked that are scores. And so you just got to go either way and pull up and be confident with it. That's what he did in the third quarter. In the third quarter, the Celtics were so bad offensively in the first half. It looked like they came out in the third quarter like, we just gonna throw caution to the wind and see what happens. And then they started to make shots. They started to get back in the game. They started to take the actual lead. And so that's what I think they're gonna do playing in front of their home fans. They'll be charged, but you gotta limit the turnovers.
One thing you noticed after watching all these Wiggins highlights for the past couple days is all of his baskets, aside from a couple mid-range jumpers, were just him getting to the rim. And there wasn't a lot of resistance at the rim. What can the front court of Boston do to take away the layup game of Wiggins and Curry and the rest of the Warriors?
Well, the first thing is you can't turn the ball over. That's the whole thing. Like, Wiggins ain't the first option in the half-court offense. Like, they'll get it to him against a mismatch or against a small, but the focus is to try to get Steph and Clay shots. And then get Wiggins on back cuts and to get him off of actions when he sets the screen and he becomes the roller. But when you really unlock his game is when you miss and the Warriors get the rebound and he's a rim runner. Or when you turn the ball over and he becomes a slasher in transition. That's what's going to get him going. That's what's going to get Gary Payton II going. Those type of offensive plays and cuts and movement without the ball, not necessarily primary initiators of the offense.
Jalen, I love Boban, that's no secret. And I love watching him play in the NBA, but what I love more than watching him play in the NBA are watching him play against children. Jalen, please just narrate this video that we're about to play for you.
So Boban, you know, he's playing the Grinch in his Christmas Day. You know, the youngsters feel like, you know what, there's a basket treat, and I want to just shoot over this NBA player. And he like, no charity. No charity. Because guess what happens when one of those kids score on you, Jacoby? They talk about it and they remember it forever.
For the rest of his life.
Right? But when you block every one of them, they remember that too. And so when y'all out there practicing y'all killer crossovers and y'all oohs and ahs to try to make the crowd go wild, you got to worry about making the shot. I'm not mad at Boban doing what he does.
Jalen, Kyrie Irving is sort of an alternate thinker. He likes to approach things with sort of a new perspective, and his recent tweet was a good example of that. Here is what Kyrie Irving had to say in a very interesting summer in his career. He said, "I thought Mother Earth belonged to the people. Why am I paying to live here? Oh, let me guess, quote, because that's just how things are, end quote. LOL, FOH. Jalen, I sent this to my landlord, and I told him this is why I'm not paying rent this month. I was like, look what Kyrie said. I thought Earth was for the people. I thought Earth was just for the animals and the people. Why am I paying to be here? Why am I paying to be here?
All adults can appreciate what I'm about to say. Life changes when all of your bills are in your name. And Jacoby, every adult says this very thing about paying taxes. What do you think about that?
That's a good point. Why am I paying a landlord just to exist on this planet? And then why am I paying the government just to exist on their soil? You know what I mean? It's just like, I didn't ask to be here. It's all of a sudden I just woke up here and now I gotta pay just to exist. I'm not paying rent this month, Giuseppe. Giuseppe's my landlord. I ain't paying rent. July 1st, don't come checking for me. I'm just gonna send you this Kyrie tweet. Kyrie Irving, thank you very much. I appreciate you for the sentiment. You said don't agree with Kyrie, like the flat earth thing, but I kind of agree with him this time. I didn't choose to be here. Why I gotta pay? Dogs don't have to pay. We'll be back right after this very short break with more on Jalen and Jacoby. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, months ago you said every day that Brittany Griner is detained, we're going to mention it on the show, and I never thought we'd still be doing it 118 days later.
It's almost embarrassing, but we're going to continue to do it here at Jalen and Jacoby. After 118 days, we wish Brittany Griner a speedy, safe return to the United States.
Elimination game for the Celtics. Game 6 tomorrow night in Boston. Will we see a Game 7?
There will be a Game 7. And going into this series, I felt it would be Warriors in 7, and it's kind of shaping up that way. The Boston Celtics, I believe, are 3-0 when facing elimination in these playoffs. And after having such an amazing season, I don't think it ends on their home floor in front of their home fans. I think they come out with Jason Tatum leading the way, along with Jaylen Brown playing their best games collectively in this series. Al Horford, who had 26 points in Game 1 and only 30 points total since then, I think he plays a lot better. So does Marcus Smart. The Boston Celtics play with that Celtic pride and force a Game 7.
Jalen, my rebuttal is 3 words long. Game 6. Clay. We'll preview the game tomorrow.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Max Kellerman. Welcome to this Just In, a fast hour around the world of sports and how I see it. Amari Stoudemire, JJ Redick, and we begin with Steph and the Warriors closing in on another championship. Steph Curry has been the best player on the court in the 2022 NBA Finals for a change, averaging 30, which leads all scorers. Though he's known for his three-point shooting, he was 0 for 9 from 3 in Game 5. It's the second most three-point attempts without a make in a finals game all time. And they won. And with another win, the Warriors have another title. Steph is the heavy favorite to win his first ever finals MVP. At 34, he'd be the second oldest first-time finals MVP behind Wilt Chamberlain. Guys, Steph Curry has been the best player on the floor. And if they had to give out the MVP right now, run away, you can't even think about giving it to anyone else. It's Steph's. He didn't shoot well, they still won. JJ, you pointed out the good things he did do, which helped them win. If they lose in Boston, like if he has some huge performance, oh my God, great, now we can start talking, is he a top 10 all-time player? But if they lose in Boston, and they go back to Golden State, and he has a poor shooting performance, and they lose, that'd be the second time in a Game 7 at home he not only didn't get it done, but messed it up. I can't start hearing about top 10 all-time confidence. It can't be. JJ, it can't be. Now, go ahead. Bask in my framing of the NBA Finals as a kind of individual hero ball test. Please, go ahead. Enjoy it.
There's a lot of ifs in that question,
Yes.
Max. There's a lot of ifs in that scenario. I expect Steph Curry to be Steph Curry in Game 6, and he's going to be aggressive. He's going to try to shoot 10 to 15 threes. There really is no defense that can stop him from getting those shots off. I talk about this all the time. Steph is the center of everything that orbits around him, and the Warriors rely on his movement, his pick and rolls, the threat of his shot. It opens things up for everyone else. Him just stepping on the court and being aggressive, that's ultimately what's going to allow things to be easy for everybody else.
I want to pin you guys down on this because when I bring it up, it's like I'm not rooting for it to happen. I'm curious because people are like top 10 all time. All those guys had finals where they were the best player on either team, where they won the championship, finals MVP. I'm just asking the question. Would you agree if he shot it poorly in a Game 7, if it doesn't go their way in Game 6, say Game 6 go either way? They lost.
It's not even a conversation worth having.
Why? Because if he had a huge game, I'm saying, yes, now let's talk about top 10. Why can't you even entertain the other one?
You want to have a conversation about LeBron James if he wins 4 more championships? Has he surpassed Jordan? Like, we can have this conversation, this if conversation all day. The reality is,
if conversation.
You said it, Max. You said it. He's been the best player in the series.
Yes, so far. Yeah.
So far. That's all that matters.
Really?
That's
so
all
the
that
next
matters.
2 games potentially don't matter? JJ.
Game 6
Amari.
matters tomorrow, whatever his performance is.
And you just
we
can't,
can
you're too focused on Game 6. You can't entertain the thought of a Game 7?
You got to take it one game at a time.
You guys have to take it one game at a time.
Let's start talking about where Luka ranks all time. Because if we're going to do that, let's start talking about Luka. Let's say Luka Doncic has 12 to 15 more years at this production level and wins 3. You see what I'm doing here?
Right.
I do. You're making a false equivalency.
No,
you're trying to look 15 years in the future. I'm asking you to look 1 game in the future. 1 game. I just saw him have a poor shooting night.
Nobody involved with the actual sport of basketball is even thinking about a Game 7.
Okay.
Nobody involved with
may I
basketball
ask, if they lose Game 6, can I ask you about it then?
Absolutely.
Okay, fine, fair enough. Amari, what do you expect from Steph in Game 6?
I think Steph's going to have probably the
I asked
best.
him about Game 6. Yes,
Right.
go ahead. Yeah.
I think Steph's going to have probably the best game of his career.
Really?
I feel like there's nothing Steph can't do, right? You know his slogan, he goes, he says, I can do all things. Well, he truly can do all things, because on the basketball court, there's no weakness in his game. I mean, you look at Steph Curry just make a left-hand pass on a dime. Like, that goes unnoticed for most of the fans out there. But as basketball guys who see and critique his game, you can see all the elements of his game. He's not...
Here, talk to an idiot for a second, okay? How many points is he going to score?
He's going for 50, bro.
50?
He's going to have a 50 game night.
Oh.
Game 6. You can't stop him.
That number doesn't scare him because he might put up 50. Amari put up 50. That's why that number doesn't scare him.
He's going off, man.
Hey, Amari, watch this. JJ. If Steph, I'll entertain it. If he scores 50 points on the road against the best defensive team in basketball to win a closeout Game 6, I will start to say, you know what? I think he is a top 10 player of all time. See, it's easy. The
thing with Steph is he's the only guy I know in the recent game that can get to a zone. Like, you get into a stratosphere mentally where you just cannot see anything except for the ball going in. And when you get in that space, there's nothing no one can do. And I've never seen a player get in that zone more than Steph Curry.
And I've never seen Steph do that in the game that closes out a finals in a 50-50 kind of series. That's why I want to see it. I think that would be something new. And elevate, real quick, JJ, what do you think it would mean for that trio, the nucleus that's still there, Steph, Dre, and Clay, if they're able to close things out in Boston?
Yeah, I think there's some historical significance to this. We did an exercise last week or 10 days ago about the top 5 trios of all time. And just to provide a little context, after their win in Game 5, they have more wins than any All-NBA trio in the finals in the last 50 years. They surpassed Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker. If they get to 4 championships, that to me signifies they are one of the 3 to 5 best NBA trios of all time, period.
Oh, yeah, probably they're all, 3 to 5, yeah.
Easy.
Maybe they're already, maybe even higher. This just in awe. LeBron James getting a close-up look at Lord Stanley's Cup. There were jokes going around about this being the closest LeBron would get to touching a championship trophy again. But Amari, what do you think?
No, LeBron is analyzing this trophy because it's a Stanley Cup. You know what I'm saying? That's just a big-time trophy for the NHL. And LeBron is like, listen, this is what I'm striving for once again in the NBA. I'm looking at this. I love what I'm seeing, but I want the NBA championship trophy.
I wouldn't sleep on LeBron or his ability to maybe grab another. All right, guys.